host on Teachers Talk Radio. She has preceded this show talking about EdTech, the highly informed, educated approach to talking about the history of EdTech, solutions, future of EdTech. Lovely discussion. I am not providing the same service today, I'm sorry to say. We will be screaming into the void, and we're going to love it. We're going to enjoy it because the last week that I've had, and I know from Twitter alone, and friends alone, and colleagues alone, the last week has been it's been full of IT woes. It's been full of printers being broken, ink being out in the first week of term. It's been full of, monitors, right? As in not like a register monitor, as in the computer screen, just doesn't switch on. It's plugged in. It's now the hub for a computer in my own experience, and just doesn't switch on. Just decides of a break time, not even of a morning, or you come in the morning, you go, all right, I'll adapt, I'll switch my plans. A break time. Middle of the day, nah, I'm off. See you later, monitor. Thank you for your assistance thus far. I will now teach from speech. And I think we have to ask the question, is teaching analog? Should teaching just be analog? Should we stop doing this dance? These are all coming up today. We are talking tech. We're talking how we're resourced in the classroom. What can we do to fix it? But my fixes are going to be like, they're going to be like little plasters over a hole in a boat. All right. I want you to imagine you're in a sinking boat. All right. And there's a little hole in the side. And, rather than replacing the wooden beam or, getting a boat mechanic to come and fix it, we're going to put a plaster over it. All right. And then when you spot another hole, you're going to put another plaster over that one. And then there's another hole in the back. Whoa, don't want to sink. Let's put another plaster over it. All right. And that's the vibe we're going for today, because I'm thinking today, let's just be a mirror, because we're all feeling it, aren't we? We've all been feeling a little bit of that pressure, a little bit of the stress, a little bit of the intensity of the resources not being what you want them to be, where you want them to be, how you want them to be. And we got so many, we got an army, haven't we? We got visualizers, we got the projectors, we got the monitors, we got laminators, we got photocopiers. Not one of them works. Not one of them. But maybe some of them do. Look, I want to hear from you, because you are the wonderful listenership of Teachers Talk Radio. And I want to hear of your experience thus far this year. How has it been? How's your start to the year been? Have you actually had a surprisingly smooth start? And you want to go, whoa, Graham, chill out a minute. This is all right. These schools are doing all right. We've been funded. We've got the money to spend, and we're all, we've been printing a go-go. We've been digitally. My kids all have an iPad in hand, and they're flicking their answers around the classroom. Tell me of your experience. If you simply want to scream into the void with me, then hop on board and let's ride this train today on the Sunday brunch slot on Teachers Talk Radio. And let's just relate. Let's just go, that's no good, is it? But let's enjoy it. Let's laugh and move on. And maybe we'll feel a little bit better an hour and 24 minutes from now. Feeling a little bit better about how things are going. Usually I start the show with a little bit of current affairs, talk about what's going on in the world. Can we talk about spiders for a minute? Spiders. All right, because I'm aware the season's changing, and I'm aware at this time of year spiders like to come indoors, but something's up this year. All right, I know there's a new Spider-Man on the way. It's receiving a lot of hype on the internet, and I think there's channeling some kind of spider-related energy, because the spiders are too many in my life. How is your spider situation out there, teachers? Because I'm finding everywhere I look right now, they have taken over my garden. I think I've formally signed a contract for the spiders to own the garden until next summer. 4 I spotted this morning on webs. I went out to kick a little ball around with the little man. Luckily, there was a gap between the webs that allowed me to travel to the grassy part of my garden. But I was very much thinking of throwing the towel in and going, you know what, kid, forget it. Leave it to the spiders, because they're all over the place. 4 immediately when I went out, all on their own big web. And then I got further into the garden. Over the shed, there's a bunch of them. Listen, I'm not an arachnophobe, or I will hunt a spider down at the best of times, and responsibly place it in a safer environment. But but something's going on. So if you want to call and talk about your spider woes, I'm here for you, lads. All right, I'm here to talk spider woes because I've been suffering. I'm not gonna lie, my mother-in-law the other day had me running around dealing with spiders for her. So maybe they're taking over. Maybe this is the next thing. COVID. We're moving past COVID, so why not a spider pandemic? Who knows? Seema says, same, but my house. Oh, you've handed the house over. Yep. And I understand. I have no arguments there. Sign the contract in blood. Take it, spiders. I'll see you next summer when you are ready to move out. Please let me know when you're ready to move out because you are clearly in control in this situation. Tim says, we have one tarantula in the living room and another 12 in a different room. Now, listen, Tim, I'm taking you as an honest guy. You've never lied to me before, so I'm assuming your tarantula is the real deal here. Plus, you live in a part of the country I don't know very well that I know has lots of nature and beautiful things. So I'm assuming you have a wild tarantula now in your living room, just hanging out. I do remember a couple of years ago, there was a meme went round and it was about the spider thinking he was your roommate, and being so sad and that did change my view on the spider problem because I felt a little bit bad when I would eject the spiders. And I thought, oh man, they just want to hang out. They just want to hang out with me. But 12 in a different room. Why are they all going to one room, Tim? I don't know why you've got 12. Do you have a spider? Maybe that's not a bad shout, actually. Put a little pot of what attracts spiders. For some reason, my instincts go to honey, which is not correct. But you go to the good pubs and they have a pot of syrup or honey or something, and all the wasps are in it. It's not humane. I know it's not ideal, but it does deal with them. And you always know you're in a good pub when they have those because you don't have wasps flying around you. Now I feel bad. Am I going to get cancelled? Oh boy, this is it. I knew this day was coming. My high. What can I say? I don't know. Hierarchical, high throne that I'm on here is about to fall apart. I'm not a massive fan. They are the wives. Okay, Tim is messaging in just for listeners to know what's going on here. Tim is messaging into the Podbean app, and you can too. If you are listening live, you can tell me all your spider news, just like Tim is right now. But it's turning out we have a tarantula in the living room and 12 in a different room. Where I thought he was talking about an invasion of spiders, I think the truth here is actually Tim and his wife actually choose to mind spiders. And look, I'm not criticizing. I'm open to all creatures, great and small, when invited. So, my brother, when I was growing up, he had 2 tarantulas, 2 lizards, 2 snakes. I don't know why he had 2, if he thought he was running Noah's Ark or something, but maybe that was the start of his attempt to save the nature of the world. But it sounds like Tim is a bit of a carer of arachnids. So not often you hear about those. Do you know a scorpion's an arachnid? There you go. Learn something new every day, people say. Scorpion is an arachnid, people. So get on board. Not just spiders and tarantulas. They are terrifying, though. If you have a tarantula, Tim, please keep it in your container. Don't release it because during this season, the last thing I need approaching me at unawares is a tarantula. Some of these guys might as well be tarantulas, but I don't need a real one. All right. They're hairy and scary and very intimidating. So thank you for your contribution, Tim. I shall sleep with one eye open, thanks to that. Apparently, you should keep conkers in the corner of a room to prevent them coming in. Seema suggests you put conkers in the corner of a room to prevent them coming in. Egg on my face, because last week, or 2 weeks ago, I was joking about the irrelevance of conkers. And, little did I know, they were really protecting themselves from spiders all that time. So a little show link for the long time listeners. Conker's return onto Graham's brunch. Khalil says he hasn't seen a conker in decades. No, indeed, they don't appear in cities. This is a thing. Conkers are a classic countryside thing. But listen, Seema, you could be starting a business there. You know what you should do? Pop a conker in a pot, right, and label it as kind of anti-spider technology. Put this in the corner of your, and no one will know. They'll never, don't open it. Dangerous chemicals containing. TTR branded conkers. Teachers Talk Radio. Live conkers in the corner of your living room. Keeping the Dragon's Den. It starts here, people. All right, all right. At some point, I guess I should talk about something teacher related rather than conkers keeping spiders out. But spiders are priorities, people. We're all suffering. We're all suffering. If you haven't seen a spider, are you even? Well, maybe you're a conker salesman. Who knows? Anyway, spiders, big problem in my life right now. Thank you for listening. I hope that you guys are doing well. Welcome to Teacher Talk Radio. This is Graham Columb on the Sunday Brunch. We are talking about IT woes. If your photocopier has broken down already, I want to hear from you. If your printer has run out of ink in the first week of school, I want to hear from you. This is the place to be, to share in the woes that is teacher technology reality now. Okay. Also, is this the case the world over? If you're an international listener, if you're in the States, in India, in, wherever, Hong Kong, China, if you're anywhere in the world, do you also suffer IT woes, or is it strictly British schools? British schools are underfunded. Australia, New Zealand, are you guys? I believe they're funded quite well. We had a Google Classroom training session from somebody I'm pretty sure it was Australia. And they looked like they were all Googled up to the eyeballs. They had the latest tech. They had the no problem. She was leading this thing as a teacher, telling us about how to use technology. And straight away, ours was breaking down during the meeting. So I have a feeling Australia are a bit better at funding their teacher tech. But why is it so bad? Why is it such a low priority? People say about funding, and I think half the problem is that it's a choice of funding, isn't it? It's like, oh, where should we spend the money? Should we spend it here? Should we spend it there? And so some person who's not got his boots on the ground or her boots on the ground decides funding would better go in A, B, or C. And you know what? It probably would be better going to A, B, or C. But IT becomes a lower priority. And honestly, I'm here to ask the question today, is it a low priority? Or do we actually really need to kind of shift our priorities a little bit and go, we can't do very much sometimes if the IT isn't working, especially these days when, as a primary school teacher, jack of all trades, master of none, I'm leaning on that stuff. We were doing Pilates this week, guys. Pilates. Do I seem like a guy who knows Pilates? Because I don't. All right. I depend on the ICT to show somebody doing a V shape, right? I can't do the V shape. Look at the screen, kids. Do that. I will try and embarrass myself whilst trying, but I need the ICT, right? The same with French. S'il vous plaît. I'm not great. I'm happy to say I'm not great. I can convey the intention of learning. I can bring the kids through the journey of the lesson and motivate them and, encourage and make them feel good about it and get them to their goals. But I do need sometimes the ICT to work. And when my monitor switches off whenever it wants and is just like, nope, forget it, mate. It's hard. It's, how is that not a big priority? It's a hard thing to do. You know what? We should do another show at some point in the future. Prioritizing education. Could there be anything more contentious? Prioritizing what's more important? Attendance, IT, TAs, LSAs. Come at me. All right. Next week, Teachers Talk Radio, prioritizing school. It's just an all-out fight next week. All right. Bring your gloves because I don't want anybody getting injured. All right. Let's have a little look. Seema's off. She's patenting the conkers. All right. She's off to save the world of spiders. Their one is so big. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to keep returning to the spider thing. Let's leave the spiders. I'm in my little booth right now. Okay. My little recording booth. So I can host this show clearly and concisely. And I feel very safe from spiders in here. I'm genuinely staring around the room right now, terrified that somewhere a spider has broken in. I think this room is safe. If it's not, you're going to hear from me about it. All right. But for now, we're good. Let's rock on with the show. Sobia says some SLT, that's leadership team, do not have IT or business backgrounds, so lean on others for expertise. That's the universe of teaching, isn't it? We all don't have IT business backgrounds, so we're all trying to figure it out. But the problem is, and I will kind of break this down and approach it in a more organized way in a moment. The problem is that we all have these different levels of solutions. Like I'm seen in my school as a bit of a fixer for computing things. But as I've thought about it more this week, I see that I'm part of the problem. Like it's people like me who think they can fix something, but actually don't know the bigger picture and probably, change one setting, change another setting. And that means that computer isn't aligned with all the other computers. And it's just a mess. It's a mess. And the only solution I can think of, the only real solution Tell me if I'm wrong, because there are probably lots of solutions. But I thought about it a fair bit this week, and it just has to be a full-time ICT person out of classroom, high priority, valued highly in the school, essentially on a level as the caretaker, right? You have your caretaker and your computing caretaker, right? And they're in all the time, full time. They're in the meetings. They can throw in suggestions about how to improve things. They're part of the staff, but they are the computer person. And if ever there's a problem, they sort it out. They are the guy in the chair. Do you know what I mean? And that's not sexist. When I say guy, I mean a gender neutral guy. They are the guy in the chair, and they solve all things remotely, or they visit the classrooms, they're on the hardware, but then nobody else gets involved. One teacher doesn't ask another teacher for help, and then between them they botch both of their computers, because that's probably what I've been doing over the last while. Probably behind the scenes somewhere, all my little fixes where some people have kind of gained some misplaced trust in asking me to solve their IT problems, actually has probably buried them. And how many schools have those people? Oh, that person will know how to solve it, because they seem like they might edit videos on the weekends, and might be on a radio or podcast thing on the weekends. They'll solve an IT problem, but actually they're not trained. Actually, they have no clue what they're doing. They're just winging it, and sometimes seem like they found a solution, not really knowing how it affects the background of the network and the systems that they're tampering with. Why are we even allowed to tamper with them? I'll tell you what, years ago, I've been teaching for 10 years now. So before that, I worked in a job center, in a call center. And I was thinking about this as a comparison. Firstly, the printers never broke. Never. Now this is government funded and stuff, so I'm not even criticizing the government here, which I probably should be, but it's just about priorities and how it's run. In that job in the job center, the computers absolutely needed to work. The printers absolutely needed to work. And I was in a call center, so the calling system had to absolutely work. And 99.9% of the time it did work. Now, to me, that's odd that when when you're in a job that you absolutely need these things to work, they seem to be able to step it up and make them work. And like I said, it's 99.9%. There was the odd day you'd come in and, phones are down. Okay. And you'd have an extra cup of tea. Good times. But generally speaking, it was a priority. If ever they break down, someone would rush in, they'd solve it all within an hour, and it was done and you were moving on. In teaching, it's like, right, my monitor's switching off randomly. It was doing that before the summer. It was doing that in March. Do you know what I mean? And it's still doing it now. No one cares. Yeah, no, not a priority. I put it in the little book to be looked at from our IT guy, and I'm sure that they will look at it when they have time to look at it. Great. But why is it that in a job, it's government run job, they can make it work. They can make the phones work. Every single day I went in, I would take calls, I would get the job done. It was a priority. In teaching, it's up in the air. Who's funding it? Schools can decide how much they spend on IT. Doesn't really matter. Maybe some head teacher is old school and they think teaching should be analog, so they don't fund IT. And then there's some teacher who wants to try and be modern, but they're against it. I just find it odd that when it's a priority, it's managed, and then it kind of highlights to me that in teaching, it's not a priority. And we need to have that conversation today. We need to ask, is it a priority? Why isn't it more of a priority? How is it allowed to be in the state that it is right now? The state of IT. We're going to talk about different problems that we experience. I'm going to tell you about my own situation in school, because we've actually upgraded lately in my own school. I'm lucky enough to say in the last year, as part of the COVID thing, they thought, kids aren't in. Let's make it so when the kids return, we have new whiteboards, we have new monitors, new everything. It's all zhuzhed up, done. What a lovely idea, right? And they invested a hell of a lot. I'm thinking at least £30,000. I think it's a lot more. The more I think about it, it's got to be more than £2,000 per class. And you got full new whiteboard, it's touch screen, you got full new monitors, all the old stuff is gone. It's all synced up on the network, la di la di la. It's all got the software on it. It's all, got your Google Classroom and stuff like that. They did everything financially they could do to solve the IT problem in my school. All right. So if you're in a school where they haven't done that yet, and you've got the old school whiteboard, you've got a projector hanging off your ceiling, which is a nightmare, and you got an old school visualizer hooked up to it with the wobbly buttons that never work. If you're one of those and you're thinking, oh, if only they'd buy new equipment, I'm here to tell you that is not a solve. I'm sorry. I wish it was, but in the experience I've had in the last year is we spent such a crazy amount of money on every single classroom getting the same brand of amazing new touchscreen whiteboard, and every classroom getting the same brand of amazing monitor with the computer built in, with a camera built in. Every single classroom has gotten a brand new visualizer. Should have been amazing, right? And day 1, 2, 3, 4, every day since, problems. They're not aligned. They're not synced up. My monitor is switching off randomly, as I've said a few times on the show. It's not a solve. What I'm saying is that the money side is not the only problem, or at least the money being spent on the technology is not the problem. It's deeper than that. It's a deeper problem. And I'd love to hear your experience of that. Have you, what do you think is the solve? My personal opinion is that it's an informed IT guy who knows and that's not sexist wise. I mean, guy or girl, gender neutral term as guy. IT guy to be the captain of the IT ship and no one else mess with it. And if they mess with it, they're being reprimanded by all staff and by head teachers. They're sacked. You looked in the settings, you're sacked. Get out. Where's Alan Sugar when you need him? You're fired. That should be the IT tech guy. An Alan Sugar in every school. You went to the settings, you're fired. All right, that's an awful impression. I don't know why I always do that as the Alan Sugar sound. It doesn't sound anything like him. Anyway, look, when we're going to go away in a moment for ads, for news, for all that good stuff. And when we come back, we are going to break it down. We're going to talk about the different items of tech. We're going to talk about the problems we're having. We're going to talk a little bit more my own experience with them, where we are at now, and what are these solves that we could have. Little solves or big solves. My big solve is the IT guy, gender neutral term, IT guy, I think that's the only solution. And they need good pay. We need to value them in the school, and they need to not be a class teacher. Right. I feel like I've set up a sermon for the morning. On that note, let's hear the news. Let's have some ads, and let's get ready for some more. This is Teachers Talk Radio, and this is Teachers Talk Radio News.
A report by BBC Newsround highlights the fact that 2 UK teachers are shortlisted for the final 50 for the World's Best Teacher Award. Both teachers work in schools in England. Kat Davison is a critical thinking teacher at Sevenoaks School in Kent, and David Swanston is a teacher of the visually impaired at St Vincent's School in Liverpool. The competition has attracted more than 8,000 applications from 121 countries. Ms. Davison has been praised by the school's head teacher for her work inspiring young people to play an active role supporting charities and creating a better world. Mr. Swanston, who is deputy principal at St Vincent's, said he was proud to be shortlisted amongst many inspiring teachers, but that the recognition for the school, including students, staff and the wider community, was also important. The winner of the award wins $1 million, which is around £750,000. 10 finalists will be chosen in October, with the winner announced in November. Conservative MPs have called for careers advice to be offered to all pupils from Year 7 to Year 13 in schools in England. MP for Workington, Mark Jenkinson, says this is needed if the government is serious about levelling up, according to a report in the Evening Standard. Introducing his Education Careers Guidance in Schools bill, Mr. Jenkinson said it would simplify the current law and create a level playing field across academies and state-funded schools. The bill will go to a second reading after being unopposed. Mr. Jenkinson spoke about the stark disadvantages faced by many young people, and that careers advice is one of the most important weapons against disadvantage. At present, the statutory duty to provide careers guidance applies to maintained schools, special schools and pupil referral units, but not academies, although many academies do have contractual obligations to provide careers advice via their funding agreements. Labour's Shadow Education Minister Peter Kyle said the bill was a vital way to expose children to alternative options to work, with those surrounding them when growing up. Ofsted Chief Inspectors and the Prisons Inspectorate have written a joint commentary discussing the impact of COVID-19 on prison education and have announced the launch of a new prison education review. According to details published on the Ofsted website, the findings highlight the significant impact the pandemic has had on prison education. although it also acknowledges that quality of provision was already poor. A series of recommendations includes advice to prison leaders to ensure assessments are used effectively, vocational training opportunities are provided, and learners should be back in the classroom as quickly as possible. This has been your weekend news.
I'm just stepping in to say sorry about the low volume on that, people. We are going to go straight to our quick note from our sponsors, which will be at regular volume, and then we're going to come back to talking IT woes in the classroom. Here's a word from our helpful sponsors. Creative Resources, made for teachers by teachers. At Creative Resources, we've been rethinking what a classroom can be. We've created a huge range of more than 2,500 original and exciting resources that span across more than 15 different subject areas. Whether you're looking for primary or secondary level resources, careers options, PSHE, arts, or humanities, Creative Resources have the resources for you. We offer full curriculum packages and unique, challenging escape rooms themed on topics such as Shakespeare, Tudors, and fractions. We have quizzes, task cards, Tarsier puzzles, and lots more. Better still, more than 100 resources can be accessed for free. Just visit our website, www.CRE8TIVEresources.com. You can get 10% off any order you make on our website by using the discount code TTRadio. Creative Resources, made for teachers by teachers. Every teacher loves stationery, right? Imagine getting a selection of fun, beautiful, and unique stationery items designed and selected especially for teachers, delivered through your door every month. You need to check out teacherslovestationery.club.
I'm always so excited when the box arrives. It's such a treat.
My Teachers Love Stationery Club box is just a little treat to myself every month.
It's always full of delightful and surprising items, including some really good quality stationery brands like Faber-Castell and Stabilo.
And because you never know what you're going to get, it makes it even more fun and special when you get it.
It feels really great to be supporting a family business that's run by real teachers. I can't help feeling like they just know what I'm going to enjoy using stationery-wise better than I do myself.
Visit teacherslovestationery.club and enter the code TTRadio when you buy your first stationery box to save £2 today. teacherslovestationery.club. Live from London, this is the Sunday Brunch with Graham Columb on Teachers Talk Radio. So I want to know how your start to school has been, all right? Have your computers worked? You've only been back for what, 7, 8 working days, something like that, 9, 10 max. Have your computers broken down? Has your printer run out of ink? Has your photocopier crashed out? Is it just in the UK? Is it worldwide? Why are schools so bad at technology? Help me figure it out. Let's talk it out. Live from London, this is the Sunday Brunch with Graham Columb on Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live on the Podbean app or desktop player. Just head over to www.podbean.com/LSW/TT Radio or search Teachers Talk Radio. Follow the hashtag TT Radio. Woo! I think that would be the highest word count in that 20-second. You know, there's a moment there where you say, this is what's coming up on the show, blah, blah, blah. I was firing on all cylinders right there. Being modest and all of that. Yes, we are talking IT problems, people. And I want to know, how we're all, how we've settled into the new year. How much has IT tripped you up? Is it your nemesis? Because honestly, for me in the last week, I'm raging. All right. There have been points in the week where I'm raging and I just don't get it. I don't get how the computing situation in schools can be so poor, so consistently. It's almost impressive. Like we should be selling ourselves on, you can rely that schools computers will never work, because I can guarantee you I don't know if I can guarantee you, that's part of it being on the show. But I think I can guarantee you every school in the UK will have a photocopying problem. right now. And they will have a printer that doesn't work right now. And they'll have computers that aren't hooked up to the network right now. It's mad. Why? That was not the case. When I worked in the job center, every computer lined up. I had the internet every day. I was emailing every day. And every call came in, never cut out randomly. My monitor never just bailed on me, as I have pointed out a few times if you just joined us. That's a little running problem in my classroom. Thank you, Tom Rogers. He says, that was ridiculous skills, G, for my speed talking. I feel like I've set the bar now, and next time I'm going to have to go more hardcore. We'll see. Tom says it's been a nightmare. Nearly every day I'm in schools, I have to send an email to ask for something to be fixed. You know what? Emails I could do without as well. I'm not a big fan. I don't check mine enough. I do check them every day, but I have to remind myself. And when there's a bunch, I'm like, lads, could you just come up and speak to me and give me the short version? Because I don't want to read through. I don't want to download your attachment. All right, come on. I'm a teacher. Come on, what these do. Give it to the ICT guy who doesn't exist, who should be managing this stuff. Tim says, our network was frustratingly slow on the first couple of days. Luckily, just for inset. Isn't that weird, though, when on the first few days of term, computers run poorly? It's like that. It's not a sleeping giant. What? You press the button, it should just come on. Like in my laptop here that I'm working from, I'll leave that for a few weeks. And when I press it, it turns on and off we go. But in computers, it's like, stretching. It's like the network has to stretch and wake up. Give it a coffee. Don't expect to print before the printer's had a coffee. What's going on? Why is that normal in schools to just be like, oh yeah, first few days, give them a chance to, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The computer needs to wake up a little bit. It doesn't make sense with computers. We're personifying computers too much, clearly, because I think maybe this is the start of Terminator. Skynet, and they're taking over. We're all going to be fighting robots in a couple of days, because I think when we have to give them a few days to warm up at the start of term, something's wrong. There's something systemically wrong with the computers in school. If they're running as slow as we are, right, on September the 2nd, what's going on? Doesn't make any sense. Thank you for the likes, Tom and Tim. Always appreciate. Let's see. Tim also says management system had an issue that required us to clear our entire browser history to resolve. That sounds a bit dodgy, that one, Tim. What kind of problem in a school requires you to clear browser histories? Sounds like management might be covering their tracks a little bit there. It sounds like I'm being a conspiracy theorist here, but if my management were like, oh, we've had a bit of a problem, we need you all to clear your browser histories, I'd be like, what have you been browsing, managers? You're clearly worried about someone coming in and checking your browser. I know the last time I cleared my browser history, and I was probably 17 years of age. All right, there's a call coming in. Let's see who this is. Oh, I've sent an invite, apparently. Hello? Memories 10. Hello? Memories 1010. You're in the room. Welcome to Start Talking. If you want to say hello, it looks like you're muted, actually. Memories 1010. What's up, Memories 1010? Who are you? Hello. Oh, man. Sounds like, you know what? This would be amazing. You sound like a robot, right? And I was just talking about Terminator and Skynet robots taking over. I think this could be ground zero right here. Are you a robot coming to take over? And you've been offended by my criticism. And that is the end of that call. This is where it begins, people. The robots are coming. Memories 1010. A bit of a spooky name too. Memories. Like he's come to get our memories. Get away, Memories 1010. I don't want to hear you or your Justin. We're going to have an apocalypse to the sound of Justin Bieber, people. You heard it here first. I don't know what happened there, but it's confirmed that the robots are coming to get us. I'm going to be the first victim because I've hosted this show, essentially attacking the robots. And Memories 1010 is their leader. That's all I can conclude from what we've had in the last minute on Teachers Talk Radio. I've got another caller. It's the next robot. It's got to be. No, they're gone. They're gone. What's going on now? What's going on? My show's been derailed, and I don't even mind. If this is how it begins, Bring it on, T1000. I don't care if you go all liquid metal and have a hook for an arm. I'm the man for the job. Memories, I can't seem to kick you out, I'm afraid. Oh no. I will just have to mute you as often as I can, Memories. Oh no, here we go, here we go. See you later, Memories. Memories. Right, they are gone. There's never going to be a robot attack, someone claims. That's good to know. Thank you, RJ15. I appreciate it. Oh, he's calling, he's calling. Hello, RJ15. I would like to hear your views on whether there's going to be a robot attack or not.
A robot attack or